project, we decided on first trying to build a better reach because we didn't like the reach, as with a lot of people. So our first idea was to do this consistent tracking thing. We realized that firstly there would be privacy issues, and then secondly it would be very battery inefficient. And so we started like this phase of brainstorming and what we would do. And mainly we just learned Swift and Xcode programming. So this is Swift code. And we watched like a lot of videos on it. It would be like either Udemy or Stanford courses. And I watched the Stanford courses, but Jingyu, he was designing UI and learning Firebase, which is a server. He watched a lot of Udemy. And Clyde was our like idea guy, and he did a lot of advising. Yeah. So this is like what we got working. The UI is not final. Jingyu has the sort of like more modern UI that he could show you later, but this is basically what we have. It would be pretty clean and pretty easy to use. So this is going to be like a big button that when you click, it gets your coordinates on the side here, and it puts it through like a location filter, and it filters into what this is, a label. Right now it's a simulator, so it's not simulating our current location. So these coordinates are for Apple, I believe. They're definitely, this huge button is basically to give you, total control over privacy issues. And we don't want teachers to know exactly where you are every single time. So you could press it if you want. If you don't want to, you could go to like this manual CISO area. We'll edit this UI, but this is basically what happens. It's pretty fast. There's going to be quick CISO buttons here.
So the thing that we find out is very that it's Wi-Fi, because so last time, like 2 days ago, I was in chapel, and chapel doesn't really have a very good Wi-Fi connection. So when I see it says you're on chapel, but it doesn't like upload that server. Like the server doesn't read the data from our phone. So like Ms. Dalhoff didn't really get all of our CISO locations, and that would be the same problem with our app. Like without Wi-Fi, we cannot upload the data for to be read by others. So that would be a thing that we have to figure out. And first we thought of using Wi-Fi nodes, but that would have a lot of like handoff issues. So, and it really came a long way to determine how GPS will work, and we thought it would be better if we have automatic checking times. That we're not final on this, but that would track your location once at 7:30 or around that period. Like let's say you're at the CFTA but you forgot to see, so it would know that you're on some kind of event or concert. At 9:30 when you're back, or from like 9:25 to 9:35, and lights out. Yeah, that's kind of what we have. But we're also discussing how this will violate our privacy issues. But we also found like protocols online that will support our functions, like local parentis, stating that in certain circumstances, emergencies, teachers or faculty members can have a higher power even than parents, so they can do whatever means possible for you to be safe. So tracking would be that would support our tracking feature, but it wouldn't. But in a lot of circumstances, we don't want teachers to like abuse this kind of feature. So to track you every time. That's why we said you can only request your location once, but for teacher to request your location, you have to approve that locations. Like you kind of have to. We're working this out. We don't know how this will work.
Yeah. So that concept, we called it like force track. It's basically like if a teacher right now doesn't know where you are and you're incorrectly CISO'd to like the library and you're actually in the dorm, and the teacher wants to look for you, they would normally have to look around most places, taking like an hour or 2 hours, or they could just call your phone. But a lot of teachers, students might not answer. So what teachers can do is send a push notification out to the student, and then they would receive it, or like an email, and then they would have to reply in a certain time range, or else the teacher may have the ability to force tracking. But we're still working on like the privacy issues on that because that's pretty like invasive of privacy, and we're not sure if we could incorporate it.
Yeah, we're talking to students and faculties, and we're hoping to send out like a survey to see. But yeah, for now we're doing this for Hill, and we're also going to implement some Hill features like dining hall menus, and campus hours, and yeah. So.
Anything else?
Clyde was a very great help.
Yeah.
He helped us think of like the tracking feature. So.
I tried to create the location thing. It didn't quite work out as planned.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We was
Okay.
trying to work with Wi-Fi nodes, but
Yeah, didn't work out as planned.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, any other things?
That logo.
This is not what we created. This is just something up. We were just so we're not.
No, I thought I was gonna ask you.
I think it's a pretty cool logo.
That was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
It's tilted to the side. It's like at an angle. Yeah. Outside.
Okay, any other things you'd like to say before we give you some applause?
Just give me some applause.
this is what I.
That's what it looks like on the actual app?
Yeah, that's the.
Cool.
Like, so we want it to be simple, like Reach. When you log in, you have all these buttons. You don't know where to go. You have the menus on the side, which takes up half the screen, and if you pop another menu, it would take up your entire screen.
So hitting that button basically logs your location
Yeah.
into a database?
Yeah. So,
Cool.
mhm.
So you're going for simplicity and ease of use over crazy amounts of menus and ridiculous amounts of tracking.
I also have tried out different like UI designs. I have like 3 at least for now.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
All right, what's the biggest thing you've learned from this process of making this app?
Teamwork.
What's that?
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Okay, there's a good buzzword. So like in terms of who handles what? Like what do you mean by teamwork? Like you have obviously a division of labor, different things that you're working on. Your ideas guy, UI, programming, lots of studying going on. How'd you share information? What's the easiest way for a team to communicate and do teamwork stuff?
Well, ideally we would have a developer's account, and then Xcode would act like a Google Doc. We could share it. But right now we're just sending different parts of it. So like I'm working on the core code, and then he's designing a lot of UI. Clyde is like working on brainstorming stuff, and then we just send it through iMessage basically.
Okay, so you're just using like chatting back and forth to coordinate. Okay. Guys, any questions from the peanut gallery?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Victor.
What's the biggest problem you think that Reach has?
I think they don't.
You're not on this team.
Everything.
Everything is too laggy.
How do you solve everything?
Too laggy.
It's too laggy. Its name is pretty bad.
You know that Firebase can't support for more than like 20 users, right?
Oh, you can upgrade it.
You can upgrade it.
Unlimited $50.
You could buy as much.
So Reach is a professional company, right? So like you would think that
No,
they
it's-
should server space.
They try to be professional.
They
Try to be
You
professional.
can
So you're
see-
saying you're going to out-server a professional company with the same
Sure.
lag issues.
Yes, they will.
I'm also keeping users signed in. Like, I feel like that's not super true.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Because Firebase is like super famous now. And everybody's using like Facebook, Snapchat.
And they just had this whole new features like web hosting. They made it more faster, where you can pass data like instead from the one Firebase server, they have different servers set up in different places. So when one user requests like maybe an asset from that or like some kind of data from that local server, the local server will go back to the one Firebase server, retrieve the data. Another user wants to. The data is already written from like their local server, so you don't have to go back to the Firebase server. Kind of like it makes everything faster.
Okay.
That's what Firebase is.
So you said that you're trying to do everything over Wi-Fi. What about cellular data? What about using cell phone connections and just...
Well,
It wouldn't
GPS
be
itself doesn't need Wi-Fi at all. So like
No, GPS doesn't rely on Wi-Fi or cellular.
it's just more accurate. But we
Yeah.
need Wi-Fi.
It's a different thing though. It's not, so it's accurate for location. So you're saying GPS is more accurate for fixing your location than using Wi-Fi access points and
Well,
triangulation that
normally,
way?
Cell phones use Wi-Fi and GPS combined to triangulate. It's like more accurate than if you use GPS alone. But we still need Wi-Fi to send it to Firebase and update the database.
So you can't just connect using the cellular connection?
With cellular connections, you have to have different cellular towers, and we have one here, so it doesn't really. I don't
I'm
think-
talking about using that for your data connection, not for triangulation and fixing your location.
Like, does Firebase still work over, like, if I don't want to connect, if I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, does it work? Just like, just got internet in general.
No. Well, it's like, let's say you're uploading the data, like half point, the Wi-Fi goes down, the data is, like, the upload status is still at half. When the Wi-Fi kicks back, it goes, like, to full, so.
Okay.
Oh no, you can hear. Okay, so my question is like, so are you gonna like get faculty and teachers to sort of program like an area for signing in place, like put coordinates for student center, coordinates for health center, coordinates for library and stuff?
Oh, we already have that. Yeah.
Okay.
And do you have the full access to it, meaning that will you be able to do changes if you want to, or will the school hold some authority over the code?
We'll work together with the school.
Together.
We definitely, like, even if we still hold ultimate control over the program, we're not gonna abuse it. It's honor code.
But this is something that you might want to keep track of the code, and if this becomes a thing for you as you guys move on and move up and maybe you go to college, maybe this is something that you do develop, like what we were talking about with Eric. This is something that you might, if it has legs.